I was very, very proud and honored to be invited to play in the Texas Bowl against a very, very good TCU football team, coached by, in my opinion, one of the top head coaches in the country, and Gary Patterson. Uh, his team plays extremely, extremely hard. Obviously, we've tried to get a head start on watching film on them, and they're so well coached. They play extremely hard. I've had an opportunity to um, play TCU a couple times. One when I was at Northern Illinois several years back, and just recently, most recently in the Liberty Bowl when we were at Georgia, and it's exactly what you think. They're going to run around and hit you, and they're going to be well coached. They're a physical football team, and but at the same time, we're excited to be able to go down to Houston and play in this game.
E. Murphy.
Hey, Sam. Gary was just saying that he's known you for a long time. I wonder what your relationship has been like, and what you think of him.
Well, I think he's a wonderful person, a heck of a football coach. You can see by the way his players play for him and for that staff they have. I've known different guys that I coached with that coach with Coach Patterson, several. And Coach Patterson, a Pittsburgh State guy and Kansas man. And so that's where, we started. And then we knew we both know several different guys in the business. And then so I don't have I don't communicate with Coach Patterson, on a monthly or basis or anything of that nature, but I do run into him some in recruiting and have an opportunity to visit with him. And I think there's certainly a mutual respect between he and I, and goes as far back as Kansas.
I have another, but I'll circle back around after some others. Thanks.
Andrew Hutchinson.
Yes, Sam. Coach Patterson was talking about Sam Carter being a kind of a coach in his secondary when he played for him. What was Sam's reaction to this game, and do you think it's kind of a cool event for him to get to play his alma mater?
Well, I would imagine it was. I'd certainly be lying to you if I talked to Sam about it, or any of the other coaches yet, about playing TCU. We found out we did. The guys came in about 35 minutes ago, and they're breaking down TCU tape. We'd already started that process, but they're in their meetings and putting a game plan together. So we have not had a staff meeting yet. We'll a little bit later tonight. I'm sure he's excited.
Sam Khan.
Hey, Sam, I know it's different these days, but I'm curious if playing a bowl game in Texas has any tangible benefits for your program from a recruiting standpoint.
Well, I think so. I think, you take the Hog brand down there, and I think Arkansas is well received in Houston and for that matter in the state of Texas. Obviously you can help yourself more in recruiting if you win the game, and so certainly we'll put all our efforts into doing that. We know how good TCU is, and we know it'd take a great effort by us, but we're certainly going to try to get our program back on the map. And how you do that is go to bowl games and ultimately win the game.
Yeah, on that note, I guess how valuable is, your program getting to go to a bowl game in your first year?
I think it's real valuable. We'll always have folks that say, well, we were 3-7 and things of that nature. But, if you look at our schedule, and you look, obviously we played 10 SEC games and certainly played, I think, maybe 4 of the top 9 teams in the country, and let alone with the other guys. I feel like we've, if nothing else, because of our schedule, we've earned a bowl situation, but our guys are, like I say, I think it's a big deal, and to be honest with you, I believe we've earned it, and so we'll see what happens.
Thanks.
Lori and Kraft.
Hey, Coach. Kind of to that point, I was just wondering what getting this bowl bid does for you guys in terms of validation and what you've done in your first year. I know you weren't there for the struggles, but obviously Arkansas have been down over the last couple years. And with the schedule that you guys had, people kind of wrote you off before the season started. So just the validation that this gives to the program and what you're building in Fayetteville.
Well, I'm happy for the kids. You know, we've only have 2 or 3 kids that didn't play in the last bowl here, but they, you know, got to go on the trip. So I think there was 2, maybe 3 guys in there. So I think it's exciting for our players that they get a reward for the at least the 3 wins that we had, and if we had a regular season, would we have won 6 games? I don't know. I'm arguing that we would have, and so. I think that to go to that a fine Texas Bowl, we went when I was here at Arkansas before, and we played University of Texas, and it was such a great bowl, great venue, and so we're really excited to go back down there and be a part of that bowl once again.
Drew Davison.
Yes, Coach. Kind of going back to Sam Carter, just when you were putting together your staff, kind of what stood out to you about his coaching background and why you wanted to add him?
Well, first of all, Barry Odom recommended him, and Barry knew him well, obviously, because he'd been over there with him. And then Sam's just mature, honestly, beyond his age. He's a guy that's, you know, you feel like he's 35, 40 years old. He's obviously not, but he's a great recruiter, a relentless recruiter, works very hard. His players have great respect for him. But in the interviewing process, I knew I was getting a guy that if he could recruit, because, you know, obviously he hadn't really done much of that as far as on the road and things like that. I knew I had something special with him. And then it turns out he's one of the best recruiters we have on our staff.
Otis Kirk.
Coach Pittman, how many practices have you guys had since the end, you know, before this announcement? And then about how many more can you get in before the bowl game? And then how beneficial are those practices to you?
God dang, Otis. The first one was
I went Bob Holt on you, man.
the first one we've had 2 practices. We had finals, obviously, so we didn't schedule a practice until the last final, which was for almost the entire team was Thursday by 12:15. So we had a practice on Thursday, one on Friday. Next week we'll practice tomorrow. We'll practice Tuesday. We'll practice Wednesday, and then we'll come back on Sunday and take our COVID test, and then we'll practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the walk on Thursday. So we'll get 9 practices in, and I forget the third part of the question.
Just how beneficial is this going to be? Because you didn't have spring ball. This is kind of, in a way, making up for that, I guess, to a degree.
Honestly, it already has, to be honest with you, because, you know, on Thursday and Friday, we worked our older guys and did individual and did some things of that nature for about 40 minutes, and then we scrimmaged, tackle to the ground, inside run, scrimmaged. The first day it was 20-minute running clock, and then the second day it was 30 plays with the young guys. And you know, you can't really see all together what you have until you get them live. And if you're not able, because you know we haven't been in games where we're able to get the younger kids in the game this year. That was really beneficial for us the last 2 days.
Thanks, guy.
E. Murphy.
Sam, if I'm reading Twitter properly, I think you've had a couple of coaches become dads in the last week. I wonder if they've had a minute to spend time with their family. And also, is it your intention to bring back the 10-member staff intact at this point?
Well, first part of that is, yeah, we've had two new ones added to our staff and to our family. And from what I'm understanding, everybody's doing great. And And they did have a day that both coaches took a day there. Certainly, with it not being during the season, obviously they could have done it anyway, but not being, we didn't have a game on Saturday. It kind of came at a convenient time as well. And, they Cooper and Step, their babies were born on the same day. I thought that was kind of cool. And and you asked another question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want to bring back all 10? Is that what you want to do?
Oh, we always have a talk at the end of the year. We'll have a talk at the end of the year and visit about that. But certainly, I'm ecstatic about our staff and very proud of our staff, and we'll have a visit at the end of when the bowl's over with. But the plans are to bring everybody back.
We'll take two more. Trey Biddy.
Hey, Coach, I was just curious about your thoughts now that the regular season is over, just with all the stuff with COVID and being able to successfully navigate and actually play a 10-game schedule.
Really proud of that. Trey, the only problem, we kind of limped into the end of the year a little bit, I felt like. We had a few close games that we couldn't close out that maybe earlier in the year we might have. I don't know that, but I'm really glad that we were able to get this schedule in. I'm glad we played it. You got hit early with Georgia and Florida, and then the two neutral games were no longer neutral anymore. You had to go to College Station, you had to go to Columbia, and then the COVID and all that. With all that said, to be where we're at and be invited to the Texas Bowl at this point with a healthy football team, I'm just really proud of everybody involved, the way that we got through the 10 games.
Last question for Trey S.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if you could comment on the fact that you're going to play the last game of 2020, that physical calendar year of 2020. And then also, what was the reaction from the players when they found out it was Houston in the Texas Bowl?
Well, the only reactions that I've seen are just a few of them on Twitter. We haven't had they're off today. And so, we did not have a Zoom team meeting or anything of that nature. There was certainly a thought that went through our mind, but we didn't know exactly when we could release it, and so I didn't want the players sitting there waiting for 30, 40, 50 minutes. The other thing is that being the last game, it's going to be pretty cool, There might be a lot of people in the second half. It might be blurry to them and all that kind of stuff, but it should be, I remember watching the game, it's the last game. You're going to have a large audience. It's going to be kind of neat.
That's it. Thank you so much, Coach, for your time.
Thank you all.